turning to the IPR policies, my background, I mean, I was in-house counsel at the time, the largest Wi-Fi manufacturer in the world. And I saw the Wi-Fi licensing issues up close, as well as, the cellular issues that I've been dealing with, both when I was in-house and as an outside counsel. It is a very different environment, and it is an important distinction. And I have seen companies, both publicly and privately, decide not to use cellular specifically because of concerns over licensing, decide not to develop products, decide not to develop IoT applications because of concerns about licensing. Wi-Fi is different for a couple of reasons. One, the IEEE policy always, meaning before 2015 as well as after 2015, has required licensing to all applicants. That requirement has been in the policy, from the get-go, and that's sort of been something that's maybe a little bit different than the ETSI policy, just in terms of wording. Two, there's been a history of licensing amongst the chip makers. You showed a great graphic earlier where you showed who's actually contributing to and building these standards. It's Broadcom, Qualcomm, Marvell, Intel, companies at the chip level that are doing a lot of the hard work, and some of the downstream companies, unlike at the ETSI technical working groups, are less involved. And so I think what we've seen also historically is not just that the ETSI IPR policy requires licensing to all applicants, but also in addition that there actually were a number of publicly disclosed chip level licenses. And what that does is it allows licenses to promulgate throughout the supply chain, so that when you buy a Wi-Fi product and integrate it into your downstream device, you don't have to worry about somebody coming up to you later and asking for a license that you weren't expecting. And two, historically, it also has allowed at least some level of indemnity being provided by the suppliers to the customers, so that they don't have to worry about later licensing claims. Where I've seen companies elect not to pursue cellular because of concerns about licensing, it's been twofold. One, they don't understand the environment and the licensing environment and can't be sure that they're going to be able to obtain licenses on fair terms. And two, because the suppliers can't get licenses themselves in many cases, they can't provide indemnity. And that disrupts the supply chain in a way that affects different industries a little bit differently based on their historical practices, but has been a disruptive force that I think has limited the adoption of IoT into some of these different industry verticals outside of handsets.